Just to ask about maybe a departure, Dave Montgomery. I know
Yeah.
you and Dan both mentioned you wanted him back. Can you kind of just walk through the timeline of how, that all came to be with him going to Houston and the return you got?
Yeah, look, it was pretty it was evident that, it was there was a there were less touches that he had. And look, a lot of it is not it's not just him, it's how Jameer had ascended. And so you know, me and David's agent, we all had, and David, we all had really healthy dialogue, it, and so we just kind of thought it was best for all parties. It was right after the end of the season, that, like, let's just see if, we can get the proper return. Because I told his agent, I was just like, look, this guy's a good player, man. Like, we're not just giving him away, So we were happy with the return that we got. I'm happy for David. I think he's in a good spot, but that's going to be not only a loss of just a player, but he was such an impact on our locker room from a leadership standpoint. Our culture, but it was all healthy dialogue. There was never any bad blood or anything, and I think it worked out well for both parties.
Brad, in a league where running backs maybe aren't valued like they used to be, the consensus seems to be that you guys landed a really nice return here. 2 draft picks, obviously a potentially valuable roster player in Juice Ruggs. The report was that David's preferred destination was Houston. I'm sure you guys entertain more options than just Houston, but can you explain how you navigated his trade market and just how pleased you were with the ultimate return?
Yeah, really, I knew he would have a market because he's a good player and he's still, in a prime age. But really, I think the reason why we got the return that we got is because it was multiple teams competing for his services. And so we were really happy with, the draft picks, but then to able to get Scruggs in it, I mean, that kind of put it over the top. There were other teams that were willing to entertain similar kind of packages, but for where we were as a team, especially from an offensive line standpoint, to add a player like Scruggs, so we did a lot of work on in the draft process. His center ability actually was really impressive since he's gotten to the NFL, and then able to play both guard spots. So again, and it worked with us from a financial constraint standpoint as well. And so that when we got Scruggs in the package, and that was like it was a done deal.
Plus, if you can add a football player named Juice, don't you kind of have to do it?
Yeah, and and he has juice, man. Like he does his makeup and all the intangible qualities that he possesses. We're all blown away by that coming out of the draft process and his makeup and the whole thing. So just to see actual tangible evidence of him starting both guard spots, starting center, and actually holding his own at all three, it was impressive.
Brad, speaking of juice, Isaiah Pacheco has some himself. Obviously we know what he can be at his best, but the production has kind of dipped the past 2 years. Injuries have been a factor. I guess, what was it about the evaluation process that kind of led you to him, and what type of a player are you getting in Pacheco?
Me and Dan have always been a big fan of that. And just the way he runs, man, he runs with urgency. He runs with toughness. I just, every time I've watched him when we played him in the past, it's just, we've been so much of a fan of just kind of the juice that he brings. And so, and he was another one that, we're kind of looking at and it's like, would love to have him, but not sure if we're going to be able to make this work. And then, that's part of the patience aspect of free agency, is just that you got to start seeing, okay, like you do your own internal analysis of the market, and, you got to stay patient, and, what you may think might happen, might not happen. It's like, oh, wow. And so, and from what I've heard, he probably had some other situations that may have been a little bit more favorable, but he wanted to be here. And so him wanting to be here, and he knows exactly what kind of situation he's going to be coming into. That was huge. So we were all on board. We were high-fiving, and man, I think he's going to be a great fit with Jameer. And look, and we still have Vaki, man. That's still, you know, we wanted to get Vaki a little bit more heading to camp last year, but he missed some time, kind of set him back a little bit. But you know, the book's not closed on him as a runner either. So so we're excited about the room in general.
And just how confident are you that Isaiah can return to that pre-injury form that he showed his first couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the bottom line is when you run with the type of urgency that he runs with, I mean, you can will your way to do a lot of things, you know, whether if it's okay, well, he had to push through an injury here and there. Look, in this game, you're never going to be 100%. It's a physical game, and he understands that. But you know, I don't have any concerns about what he's been through or anything. I don't have a crystal ball either, but just right now we're really excited to acquire him.